let me give you my first impressions of the game. Let me make my review based on the demo. My first impressions based on the demo. I streamed the game a couple of days ago. The stream is up there. It's gonna be public. It's gonna stay public. So check it out if you wanna have the complete experience. But my first impressions of the game is okay. Well, I was really anticipating this game ever since it was first announced as Project Eve all those years ago. What little they showed back then was impressive and was more than enough for me to get me hooked and interested. And since last year, since they announced the trailers, and then this year, and then a release date was announced, and then this demo, it just... the hype became real for me. There's only two difficulty settings, normal and easy. But to me, that's pretty much normal and hard. I don't think players will need a hard mode for that game, because on normal mode, it's just really freaking difficult. Now the question is it Souls-like? And we were debating on that during the stream. No, I don't think so. It does have some Souls-like elements, because the game kind of forces you to learn how to properly dodge at the exact moment, at the precise time, and guard and take advantage of your shield. But at the same time, it's not really Souls-like, because, well, first and foremost, it's easier than most Souls-like games. Actually, I found this game to be easier than Code Vein. And also, there's not a leveling system in here. All you do is gain an experience, not exactly experience points, more like experience based on a percentage bar. And once you reach 100%, you earn one skill point that you can use to learn abilities and stuff like that. So, the leveling system is there's no leveling system here at all whatsoever. So it's just different, man. And in terms of controls, the combat, yes, it's a challenging game, but how many action games or action RPGs have been there in the past that are like stupidly hard, and no one's comparing them to Souls? It's just after Souls, after Dark Souls, after the success, now everybody compares every single difficult action RPG to Souls. It's inevitable. That's the impact of the Soul series in the gaming industry. That's the big impact they caused. But I wouldn't call this a Souls-like, to be honest. It didn't feel like one to me. Like, I see some small elements, like the difficulty, for example, or the like I mentioned, the guarding, the precise evasion, stuff like that. But there's several action RPGs or action games, merely hack and slash games, that are a bit like that too nowadays. Not everything is a Souls-like. So to me, in my opinion, this is not a Souls-like at all. It just has some small influences from other JRPGs. Instead, this game gave me more vibes of NieR and NieR Automata, especially NieR Automata. Obviously because of the sexiness, because of the sexy outfits, the sexualization and all that jazz, yes. But also in terms of the setting, this is a game that's where you play as androids, advanced androids, something like that, and there's like humanity's in trouble, and they're fighting for humanity, and like, you see where I'm going, right? It's like a very similar plot to NieR Automata. But then again, there's been hundreds, or if not thousands, of plots like that in video games, in books, in movies, like robots, or androids or something like that fighting for humanity, or a post-apocalyptic setting, a science fiction futuristic universe, come on, right? Yeah, but NieR Automata kind of produced that influence of the hack and slash with super beautiful, overly gorgeous and sexy androids, and now Stellar Blade is the same, right? So it's going to be inevitably compared to NieR Automata a lot, and a little bit to the Souls-like series. But to me, this game, and I said this in the stream, is its own game. I did feel during that hour and a half where I played it that the game has its own identity, that the game is, it's hard to compare to just one game. It's going to be compared to a lot of games, and I really believe it has its own identity, and it's a really good game. I liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was way too hard, and I kept playing on normal, dying over and over again with the bosses or with some regular enemies even. But the game is very forgiving. You die and it leaves you like really, really extremely close to the battle where you died, right? Or if you die at the boss, you can just try over and over again. You just revive, right? And it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost points or anything or money. Nothing of the sort. You just revive. and that's it. So it's a bit forgiving because of that. Thankfully, there's an easy mode, and I think a lot of people are gonna play this game on easy because it's kind of technical. It's not your average hack and slash. You won't just be button mashing your controller and winning. No, it's a very technical game. Not as technical as the Souls games, but very technical nonetheless. You need to be paying attention a lot. Eve, the main character, is on the weak side of things, made on purpose to increase the difficulty in the challenge. But yeah, she's gets a few hits and she's dead. In Souls, you get like 2 or 3 hits and you're dead. So once again, it's not really like a Souls game. In here, you do get an HP bar and you get 3 potions, and yeah, you know, the game gives you some leeway, right? So you'll be able to, little by little, learn how to properly execute certain skills, or how to evade or dodge in time, how to backstab your enemies by dodging when they're about to execute a powerful attack, you know? I liked all of that. There's no point in discussing the sexiness. Of course, it's one of the highlights of the game. It is made that way on purpose, you know, to pretty much offer... how can I explain this without sounding kinky or pervy? You know what I mean, right? The game's a waifu game, okay? Like NieR Automata. You got these overly, extremely gorgeous android girls in super tight and sexy outfits. So yeah, of course, that's the appeal of the game. What else? The graphics are freaking beautiful and gorgeous. No, I didn't detect a single resolution or frame rate issue. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see when the final release comes out in less than a month. But yeah, graphically speaking, both in visuals, in terms of visuals and in terms of performance, it looks freaking amazing and beautiful and mind-blowing. Though, I'd like to point out that the first mission, well, not the first mission, okay, the second mission, like the main mission, after the prologue mission is over, the scenery and the layout was kind of dark, and it was kind of difficult to notice some of the enemies, which led me to believe that, to conclude that the game has a lot of horror elements. There's a lot of blood and violence and gore and stuff like that, but the enemy design, man, pay attention at the enemy design, and it's like something out of Silent Hill, man. I'm serious. The enemy's design was creepy as hell, but I love it. I freaking love it. I felt like I was playing NieR Automata meets Silent Hill, man. In terms of enemy design, it's just wow. Some horror elements are there, and I like that. I dig that. What else? The exploration wasn't that. Someone told me during the stream that the game is meant to be a bit of an open world game. I didn't get the feeling of an open world in this game. It was pretty linear, and there wasn't a lot of room for exploration. It's not like SandLand, where you could just, explore wherever you want for completely free. No way. But maybe after the mission in the demo, you get to experience some kind of open world. We'll just have to wait and see, right? We'll see what happens. But I didn't get any open world vibes from this game at all whatsoever. And the story, what little we saw, was pretty interesting, I love it's a generic type of plot, that the androids come to Earth and trying to fight for humanity because the world has gone to hell. It's a post-apocalyptic setting. Yeah, it's been overused, but I love that kind of setting, I love post-apocalyptic stories, so this is my kind of jam. And I can't wait. It seemed very interesting. The psychological issues the character will have because of something that happens at the beginning of the game, which also happens in the demo, was pretty interesting, was pretty intense. So, yeah, I think this game is going to have a very good story. I don't know yet, maybe it will suck later on, but from what I saw, the story and the narrative and the characters themselves looked very interesting, pretty multidimensional, and yeah, I'm happy because of that. So, the last thing I want to say is the music. Keiichi Okabe worked on some of the things. He also made the music for the NieR games, and it shows. You listen to the soundtrack and you're like, this is so NieR. So that's why I think this game is going to be heavily compared to the NieR games than other action RPGs like the Souls games. I don't think so, but who knows. It is an extremely challenging game, man. So the music is great, it's fantastic, I love it. It might be very worth listening to outside of the game. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Those are my first impressions. I think it's a really good game. Will I get it? No, because it's an exclusive on the PlayStation 5. That means it's going to be extremely expensive, and I'm not going to spend my money on that. So I'm just going to wait for the price to drop a bit, and then I'll get it, and then I'll play it, and I'll probably review it or do something about it. I'll talk about it in this channel, right? But yeah, I do have plans to get that game at some point. I'm excited for it, and I strongly recommend this demo. It offers not too much, but it offers enough to convince you that the game is freaking awesome. What did you think about the SandLand demo? Okay, so I think it's barely a demo, but also I think people were too harsh on it. I remember in the stream, there are a lot of people were saying that the demo was awful, horrible demo, one of the worst demos ever, and I disagree. I think SandLand, what they were trying to do with the demo was to let the player know and get a feel of the open world mechanics, and it does feel. I played the demo for an hour or so, and the first thing that I noticed about 10 minutes in was that overwhelming pressure of an open world game. Sure, that's just me personally, okay? That open world feature is gonna be awesome for a lot of people, right? But me, I've always been kind of shy when it comes to open world games. So the first feeling that I got from SandLand was that like there was just this massive place that I needed to explore, and I was like, man, where do I go? And often I found myself while playing the demo, just aimlessly riding on my bike or riding on the tank or running around with no direction whatsoever, just completely aimless, right? And it felt fun for a while, but also kind of boring. But that's just my opinion, I'm not really a fan of open world games. So I think what the developers were trying to do with this demo was show that specific feature to people. Like, I don't think this is gonna be a very story-driven game. It doesn't look like it. I could be wrong. Maybe it's gonna be one of those games like Trails. It's gonna have a crap ton of dialogue and story, world building, stuff like that. I don't know yet. But it gave me the impression that it's mostly a comedy because there was a lot of dialogue between the three characters in the demo. The demon kid and the two old men. And I found that to be kind of comedic, and that's the impression I got, that the game's gonna be mostly a comedy. That's Akira Toriyama humor, pretty much. Remember, SandLand is based on a series of mangas that Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, made about 24 years ago, in the year 2000, okay? So, anyway, it looks like it's gonna be a comedy. So, in terms of characters, I can't say much. I don't think it was a good idea because there's no appeal, like to release a demo with a main character and two really old men as party members. Like, I'm sorry if you're an old man, you're not interesting. Hell, I'm an old man too, according to Japan. I'm 38 years old, and ooh, that's old as hell in Japan. I'm an old fart, man. But yeah, these guys are these really my party members? Okay, I don't mind because I like some old man. I think JRPGs need more characters like that. But I wouldn't release a demo with just these two guys as party members. But still, they looked interesting. They looked like interesting characters. So, but there was barely any story and any development within that demo. So, not enough to make a strong opinion or to leave a strong impression on me. Combat is amazing. The beat 'em up stuff is like really good. I really like that. The controls and the combo system and the fact that your allies don't seem to join in the fight. They're just standing around, maybe rooting for you. But you have an option to click on a button to summon them to do like an attack or a special attack. This is kind of like Dusk Diver, an indie RPG, action RPG from Taiwan. Came out several years ago. It was like that. You will fight solo, and then you click on a button and boom. Your party member joins in and does something, right? So it looks like it's gonna be like that. Still, your party members are following you around in there, but the enemies seem to ignore them. The enemies are mostly dinosaurs in this demo because it takes place in the desert, in the SandLand. I don't know if the entire game is gonna take place in that, but it looks pretty interesting. It looks like it's gonna be focusing on that, on SandLands. It looks also futuristic, obviously, like everything from Akira Toriyama, mostly everything. So that the setting is interesting. The dinosaurs look interesting. There's a lot of people, pretty much rogues or bandits. I don't know. And based on that, it gave me a huge impression, like huge vibes from Mad Max. huge Mad Max. So it was pretty much Dragon Ball Mad Max to me, this demo, pretty much. But you have the options to fight in the motorcycle, in the tank, or in the robot. The robot combat is awesome. It's a bit chunky, it's a bit sluggish, but it's awesome. No complaints there. Fighting in the tank takes a while to get used to. It kind of sucks. It's not that great, to be honest, because you're getting attacked by a bunch of enemies that are faster than you, and your tank is slow as hell. Tank is great to fight maybe big enemies. You do get to fight like huge elite monsters in there. It's better, right? And then there's the bike combat, and that's the worst. That's horrible, man. I'm gonna use, if I ever get to play this game, the final release, I'm gonna use the bike to traverse from point A to point B, because that's awesome. The controls aren't great, but you know, it saves up a lot of time in a game that's gonna be huge when it comes to open world. It looks like it's gonna be huge. So there you go, but fighting in the bike is just garbage. So overall, and the graphics are great, no complaints there. The music's fine too. Overall, I like the demo. It left me wanting for more. I wish we could have gotten a few scenes, maybe story scenes, or maybe some town interaction, some more NPC interaction, a little bit more, a leveling system. It looks like the characters gain experience, but you can't level up in the demo. So, I don't know, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more well-presented demo, but I'm not complaining, you know. It's not the best demo ever, obviously, but I don't think it's one of the worst I've played. It's good, I liked it. I'm looking forward to the game, but because of the type of game it is, I don't think I'll be able to easily get into. So I don't think I'm gonna buy this on day one. If I get a review code, I don't know who's publishing this game. I think it's Bandai Namco, I probably won't. But if by some miracle they reached out and give me a review code, I'll probably play and review it. But if I don't, I think I'm gonna wait for the price to drop considerably, because it looks like the type of game that I'm not that big of a fan of. Those are my first impressions. I think there's a female similar to Bulma later. Yeah, I saw some screenshots. Of a female character that looks kind of interesting. So yeah.